The Varelian Empire had conquered 100 worlds before they ever heard of Earth. Their ships carved through the dark like moving stars, their banners stitched with the light of 1,000 suns. They called themselves the Eternal Line, beings of luminous flesh and crystalline eyes, who believed the void itself bent to their will. Then came the signal. It was faint, almost accidental, a human broadcast from decades ago, drifting at the edge of the Perseus arm, music, laughter, fragments of languages. Harmless. But buried beneath it was something else. A pulse. It wasn't human, or at least, not natural. The pattern was too deliberate, the spacing too precise. 3 bursts, a pause. 3 again. Then silence. Coordinates, said High Scholar Mareth as she stood before the council's obsidian table. Her body shimmered with nervous luminescence, the glow along her veins pulsing faster than decorum allowed. They lead to a small planet in a minor system. The locals call it Earth. Emperor Thalrone leaned back on his throne of dark stone, eyes glimmering like fractured glass. And the source? Unknown, my liege. But we intercepted fragments of warnings, transmissions not meant for us. It seems someone was telling others not to approach this world. The room buzzed. The Empire had never been warned off a planet before. Perhaps it's a trap, murmured Admiral Siren Voker, his armor polished to mirror black. Or a lure from a rival power. Mareth shook her head. The signal is ancient, predating our first contact with human waves. Whoever sent it is long dead, Thalrone interrupted. He stood, his presence dimming the light around him. The Eternal Line does not heed the ghosts of lesser species. If this Earth hides something, we will uncover it. Prepare a scout fleet. The Argyros fleet departed 3 cycles later, 6 ships of exploration, each the size of a city, gliding through the abyss. They passed the scattered remnants of lost colonies, the skeletal remains of civilizations that had failed to survive their own pride. Captain Nareth Val led the fleet from the solace of empire. He had seen empires crumble before, though never his own. Entering Sol System, said his lieutenant, Yara Den, her voice a ripple of static across the deck. Primitive structure detected on the 3rd planet. Artificial satellites, dead metal husks. Show me. The view unfurled across the command glass. Earth hung there, small, blue, fragile. Clouds swirled like slow smoke. To the naked eye, it was beautiful. To their scanners, it was empty. No biosignatures? Nareth frowned. The data from the old transmissions showed billions. Yara adjusted her console. Gone. The surface is cold. Radiation patterns suggest something catastrophic. Within the last century, maybe less. Then the warning came too late, he said quietly. They descended through the clouds like gods returning to a forgotten temple. The Solace landed in the shadow of what had once been a great human city. Concrete bones jutted from the earth, towers split open like rib cages. Mareth joined Nareth on the surface. The air shimmered with fine metallic dust, the taste of static sharp on her tongue. There was life here, she murmured. So much of it. Nareth nodded. And something ended it. They found corpses, not human, not alien, but something in between. Twisted shapes fused into the soil, as though the planet had tried to digest them. Yara's voice crackled through their helmets. Captain, you need to see this. We found a signal beacon, still active. They followed the sound to an underground chamber. The walls were scorched with claw marks and strange sigils, not written, but grown, etched by some living force. In the center, an old human console blinked weakly. Nareth wiped dust from its display. Letters flickered in English, a language long dead but stored in the Empire's archives. Do not enter Earth. It is not a planet. It is a prison. Mareth stared, her glow dimming. A prison? For what? Before Nareth could respond, the console erupted with static. A voice emerged, human, trembling, terrified. If you're hearing this, it's already awake. The floor trembled. A low hum filled the air, resonating in their bones. "Evacuate," Nareth ordered. But as they turned, they saw the earth itself shifting, not cracking, not breaking, but breathing. From the ruins rose something vast, a network of black roots, pulsing with faint blue light, stretching across the horizon. The scanners screamed warnings. Energy signature rising. Yara shouted from orbit. "Captain, the planet's surface is alive." Nareth looked up at the sky, where clouds swirled into a spiral, lightning crawling in silent arcs. Mareth whispered, "It's not a world. It's a cell. And whatever they buried here, it remembers us." In the silence that followed, the Empire made its first mistake. They didn't retreat. They sent reinforcements. The Second Fleet arrived 6 days later. The Eternal Command believed the first expedition had fallen victim to atmospheric instability, a natural disaster. They sent 50 warships, each armed with the power to sterilize a moon, led by the Emperor's own son, Prince Kael'Run. The prince was not like his father. Where the Emperor burned with arrogance, Kael'Run carried the quiet weight of inherited wars. He had seen the eyes of conquered species, fear first, then silence, and knew how quickly victory curdled into ash. When he first saw Earth, it looked almost peaceful. Clouds draped the planet like gauze over a corpse. No light moved on the surface. But as his ships descended into orbit, the static began. Not interference, voices. Whispers on every frequency, old languages muttering at once. English. Russian. Mandarin. Latin. And deeper still, something beneath words, a pattern, rhythmic, like a heart still beating under the ground. Origin point, entire planetary crust, reported Communications Officer Vental. "It's not localized, it's everywhere." Kael'Run's throat tightened. "Can you isolate the signal?" "We tried, my prince." "It responds." "Responds?" The officer hesitated. "It changes when we speak." "It's listening." On the surface, Captain Narethval and Scholar Mareth had survived. Barely. They'd sealed themselves inside a crashed human bunker when the planet began to stir. Now the walls trembled constantly, slow, rhythmic quakes, like the planet was breathing around them. Maretha's luminescent skin had dimmed to a faint flicker. "It isn't geological," she whispered. "It's neurological." Nareth frowned. "You think the planet is thinking?" "I think it's dreaming. And we woke it up." Her words hung in the stale air. Above, Kael'Run's fleet positioned itself in high orbit, preparing to scan the planet's core. But when they did, the readings made no sense. "Depth scans report a hollow interior," said Ven. "No mantle. No core. Just," he stopped. "Just what?" Kael'Run asked. "Just structure. Massive lattice formations spanning the entire inner sphere. Organic composition, but metallic. And movement detected." "Movement?" "Rotational. Like gears." Kael'Run ordered a direct descent to retrieve the survivors. The Obsidian Crown, his flagship, entered the atmosphere, its hull cutting through lightning like a blade through fog. As it broke through the clouds, they saw it, black veins pulsing beneath the oceans, spreading outward in branching patterns. The continents shimmered faintly, rearranging themselves like muscle under skin. Then they heard the voice. Not over the combs. Not in their minds. Through reality itself. "You should have listened." The bridge shook violently. The sound was too vast to be localized, it seemed to come from the atmosphere, the ground, even from inside their bones. "Defensive fields." Kael'Run shouted. "Fire containment rounds. Now." Energy pulses streaked toward the surface, detonations that could level continents, but each impact vanished in silence, swallowed by the ground. The readings showed no explosions, no debris. Just absorption. Like the planet was eating. Beneath the ruins, Nareth felt the shockwaves tremble through the bunker. He activated his comlink, praying the signal would reach orbit. "This is Captain Narethval of the Solace of Empire. We are under planetary containment. Withdraw all forces immediately." Kael'Run's voice cut through the interference.
Captain Vol, this is Prince Kael'Run. We are initiating extraction. Hold your position. Naratha's eyes went wide. No. You don't understand, it's not a planet. You're feeding it.
Static swallowed his words. Then the walls around him began to grow. The concrete split, roots pushing through the cracks, black, metallic, glistening like wet iron. They coiled and pulsed, reaching toward Marith. She screamed as one touched her arm. Her light flared violently, then was gone. Her body hardened instantly, crystallized into obsidian glass. Nareth fell back in horror. Marith! But she wasn't dead. Her face, frozen in translucent stone, moved beneath the surface, lips forming a single word. Run! Kael'Run's ship broke through the lower clouds, scanning for survivors. The air shimmered like heat haze, and through it he saw movement, impossible movement. Cities rising from rubble, towers twisting upward, reshaping into massive organic spires. Roads and rivers merging into symmetrical patterns. The planet wasn't decaying, it was rebuilding. Prince, said Ven, pale, we're detecting signals from human archives.
Millions of them.
Every digital record ever made is reactivating at once. On the main screen, a flood of human imagery flickered, faces, voices, laughter, war, prayer, screams, all pouring from the planet's neural lattice. And through it all, a single repeating phrase. Containment breach imminent. Kael'Run clenched his jaw. Prepare orbital fire. Total sterilization protocol. But sire. Do it. The fleet obeyed. 50 warships aligned in formation, releasing a synchronized barrage of plasma spears into the planet's upper atmosphere. The sky ignited. Oceans boiled. Mountains vaporized. And for one glorious instant, it seemed they had succeeded. Then came the heartbeat. A single pulse, low, slow, cosmic. It rippled through every ship, every sensor, every living mind. The fleet's instruments failed. Engines shut down. Kael'Run's eyes widened as he saw it, a colossal shape rising from the Earth's shadow, invisible yet distorting the stars behind it. A form too vast to comprehend, like the skeleton of a god buried within the crust, now stirring. You cannot kill what you did not create. The voice reverberated across space. Below, the clouds split apart, revealing an impossible sight, the continents themselves shifting outward, forming a perfect circle, glowing with molten light. A seal. And it was breaking. Kael'Run whispered, Father, what have you led us into? The communication link to the Empire's throne world opened one last time. Emperor Thal'Run's image appeared proud, radiant, unaware of the scale of what he had unleashed. Report, he commanded. Kael'Run's face was pale, eyes wide with terror. It's not a world, Father. It's a warden. The humans didn't die, they were the locks. The Emperor frowned. Explain yourself. Kael'Run looked past the viewport, where the glowing fissures widened, forming a spiral that reached toward space. Earth is holding something in, he said. And we just broke the seal. The signal to the throne world cut to static. Across the stars, Virelian outposts began to lose contact. Then the darkness started spreading outward, wave after wave of unknown energy, consuming light itself. The Empire, for the first time in 10,000 years, fell silent. And in that silence, Earth breathed. Silence swept the stars. The Virelian Empire, proud, radiant, endless, was gone. Not destroyed by war, not consumed by rebellion, but erased by something far older than empires. In the days following the Earth event, their communications faded one by one. Fleets vanished without a distress signal. Worlds dimmed, their suns shrouded by a spreading veil, a slow eclipse that moved between systems like a disease with purpose. It was not chaos. It was correction. And at its center drifted the broken remains of Earth. Prince Kael'Run's flagship, the Obsidian Crown, hung in orbit, half its hull fused with black crystalline growths. The crew was gone. Only Kael'Run remained, pale light flickering weakly beneath his translucent skin. He no longer felt pain, not in any way that still mattered. The voice had grown quiet, its whispers woven into the hum of the ship itself. He stood before the viewport, staring at what used to be a planet. It wasn't a sphere anymore, it had unfolded. Vast, symmetrical wings of stone and light stretched across space, forming a lattice so enormous it distorted gravity. In the center hung a burning void black as death, rimmed with gold. And within that void, something moved. He couldn't see it, not truly, but its shadow shifted like the memory of a creature too ancient to name. Every instinct in his body screamed that it should never have been released. The humans had known. They'd built their world as a tomb. And when they vanished, the locks had failed. A soft chime echoed. His console flickered with an incoming transmission, faint, fragmented, human. This is Dr. Evelyn Shaw, Terran Containment Directorate, timestamp unknown. If you're hearing this, God help you. We told them Earth wasn't ours. It was theirs. We just lived on the surface, the crust, feeding it memories, emotion, life. The planet needed us. Without us, it. The recording broke into static, then returned, softer, desperate. They called it the Archon. It dreams between dimensions. Every civilization that reached too far tried to cage it here. We were the last wardens. Don't come back. Don't. The signal died. Kael'Run stared at the screen, realization spreading cold through his mind. The humans hadn't been victims. They'd been sacrifices. For thousands of years, they'd lived atop the Archon's prison, their collective consciousness suppressing its awakening. Wars, emotions, prayers, all feeding the locks that kept it dormant. And the Empire had erased them. He sank to his knees. The floor pulsed faintly beneath his hands, the same rhythm as the heartbeat echoing through the void outside. Light shimmered through the cracks in the ship's hull. He turned and saw Marith. Or what was left of her. Her body was glass now, but within it burned a soft human-like glow, shaped like a soul caught between planes. Kael'Run, her voice echoed, fractured and distant. It's learning from us. Every thought, every fear, it's rewriting itself. What does it want? He whispered. She tilted her head. It doesn't want. It remembers. It remembers being caged. And now it's awake. In the distance, Earth's fragments began to move. The wings folded inward, collapsing into a singular point of light. Then, with no sound, the light vanished. A sphere of darkness replaced it, small, dense, impossible. Kael'Run realized what it was doing. It's folding space, he murmured. It's leaving. The ship's systems came alive with alerts. Gravity fluctuated wildly. Space itself trembled. The darkness expanded into a spiral, forming a gateway that pulsed with an ancient energy older than the universe. Maritha's form began to dissolve, her voice fading. Tell them, don't follow. The Archon doesn't destroy, it absorbs. It becomes what it devours. Marith. Her light shattered, scattering into particles that drifted toward the spiral. Kael'Run stood alone, watching as the remnants of his empire's greatest fleet were drawn into the growing vortex. He opened the ship's recorder, the last act of a dying prince, and began to speak. To whoever remains of the eternal line, this is Prince Kael'Run. We have awakened something buried beneath creation itself. Earth was never a world. It was a lock, a living cell to contain the Archon, the dreamer between realities. The humans were the key. We broke the seal. Now it moves among the stars, feeding on the echoes of thought and pride. It wears the faces of those it consumes. You will see it coming not as darkness, but as reflection, the familiar return to devour you. Do not resist. Do not fight. Hide if you can, though I fear there is nowhere left untouched by its memory. He stopped recording. The ship's lights dimmed one by one. Outside, the black spiral expanded until it filled the sky. It was beautiful, in a way, a cosmic wound-bleeding light. Kael'Run closed his eyes and whispered a final prayer, not to his gods, but to the humans who had died protecting everyone from this. Forgive us. The obsidian crown drifted forward into the spiral and was gone.
Far across the galaxy, on the edge of the dying empire, a small outpost received a signal, faint but clear.
It carried Kael'Run's message, his confession, his warning. For days, the scientists studied it, debated it, dismissed it as superstition. Then their sensors detected an anomaly near the edge of their system, a small, blue sphere appearing where there had been none before.
Its oceans gleamed. Its continents were familiar. The readings matched no known planet. And yet the computers gave it a name. Earth.
No one remembered who spoke first, but someone whispered, almost in awe.
Perhaps the humans survived.
Then the oceans opened, and the stars went out.